Hi, everyone. My name is Coach Seth. Many of you are probably meeting me for the first time, which is wonderful, and I love that, and I love meeting new people. So, if you ever get a chance to messaging me or reaching out to me, and you want to learn more about who I am and what I do, um, please hit me up. I'd be more than happy to share more of my story with you, and also be able to learn more of you and who you are and what story you bring. And so. Um, which that has a lot to do with what I'm going to be talking about today. So, well, kind of. My subject is protein and muscle growth, and so I do have a journey of that, especially with being vegan. And I want to not only share with you, uh, research or insight, facts about different things that involve protein, exercise, nutrition, supplements, things like that. But I would love to share with you some real world experience that I've had in my life that I've been able to witness and know what works and what doesn't as far as growing muscle as a vegan. Um, and so in my journey, sorry, sorry. I've been vegan for about 6 years now, so it's been quite some time. I went vegan when I was 18 years old. I was in high school, um, and really the initial thing that got me to go vegan was I watched a documentary called What the Health. So I don't know if any of you guys heard of that. If you haven't, go watch it. Love it so much. It taught me so many things, and myself. I am currently in pre-med school right now, and I love the science of veganism. I love to learn about how the body works with different insights of nutrition and things like that. Oh, my computer's acting up. Sorry, guys. We're gonna get past this technical difficulty. Don't worry. Don't worry. Um, and so, what the health was it? I was a huge factor in that. And then it just spread from there. From there, I was watching documentaries like Dominion or Game Changers for the vegan athletes. And and everything there, Cowspiracy, everything. I was like, this is so interesting, so engaging. And I started to meet people through the vegan community who had inspiring stories. Yes, Annie, that is a good book, How Not to Die. I believe that's from Dr. Greger, and I actually went to one of Dr. Greger's. He had I guess like a TED talk, but a presentation at a hospital that I went to. I was living in Reno at the time, actually, and he talked about some of his patients he was working with, and and this blew me away when I heard it. Some of the patients he's worked with had type 2 diabetes. And these patients who had these type 2 diabetes, he was able to work with them, get them into a whole foods plant-based diet, um, and help them not only prevent it but reverse it. And he was able to reverse type 2 diabetes as quickly as like 16 days. That was what he said. He said 16 days. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. There's people who are on insulin the rest of their lives, basically. Um, and if they only knew this information, maybe it could save some people, giving them more years or, whatever it is, it could give them a more, full life. And I think we recognize being healthy, having a healthy body, and being able to move and experience life gives us a more joyful life, a life full of more experiences that we are able to have. And so, obviously, veganism isn't the cure to everything. There's type 1 diabetes, right? And when your pancreas doesn't work, and so you need that insulin. So there's definitely like instances where that's not relevant, but there's also miracle stories of people who can really switch things around. Um, and so, a little bit about my journey and learning all of this as well is I grew up in a Christian household. And so I learned a lot about God, and I learned a lot about religion, uh, and I believed in these things. And I do believe in these things and in God. And I've always wondered, why animals are just slaughtered all the time, and just to be frank, is why that happens. I don't know. I've always wondered, do they have feelings? Do they care? Do they, have even a life after this one? I always just was curious about those things, and I had questions, and I would ask these questions. Um, and I started to learn that God's creatures are his art, and things he loves, and he loves us, uh, and he loves the animals. And so I was like, well, maybe we shouldn't be killing the animals, and maybe we shouldn't be eating them, and so we should have a relationship with them and have respect for them and everything like that, which I'm starting to learn is prevalent within the Christian religion, is to treat others with kindness. Whether it's your friend, or whether it's a chicken. Um, and so I started to see that be implemented in my life as well. So I was seeing it within my religion. I was seeing it within my athletics, and that's where I kind of want to get into my vegan journey as well, is my athletics. So when I was in high school, um, I well, actually, I do want to share this story real quick, because it kind of was inbred into me to be vegan. I wasn't vegan my whole life, before high school. I wasn't. I grew up in a household that wasn't. And but I will tell you this: when this is a story my parents told me, was when I was uh, just a toddler, and they were feeding me dairy milk. I had really bad ear infections, like really bad. It was to the point like we have doctor visits, and the doctors were even talking about putting tubes in my ears and everything like that, and having to do like surgery and things like that. My parents ended up switching me from dairy milk to soy milk, and the problem completely went away. Um, and so that's just a story, one that I don't remember, but a story in my own life where I've been able to see the benefits of sticking to a plant-based diet. The other benefits I saw where in high school, I was a big runner, super into running. I don't know how many of you love to run, but I did. I don't know if I can say the same now. I'm still working on it. But I loved to run. I was a cross country kid, track kid. And so the problem was I didn't really care about what I was eating. And I just kind of showed up and ran. And I did really well when I started. So when I was a freshman, I ended up competing in state, and our team got second in state. But then from there, I was like getting slower and slower and slower. I was like, why am I getting slower? Well, I wasn't really worried about what I was eating. I was probably eating a lot of junk food, and not taking training seriously. And so that's an example of what not to do, is to not care about your food, not care about your exercise, and you'll start to see progress not go forward. And this is all going to tie together, so stay with me, guys. But just some examples of things that I've experienced in the past, as far as nutrition, exercise, and just my vegan journey altogether. Um, and so continuing forward, I started to learn more about my nutrition and exercise. Um, I ended up, I served a mission for my church. And so when I was out as a missionary, I that's when COVID hit. So COVID hit, I was a missionary. I didn't really have much going on. So I really dove deep into vegan athletics. I wanted to know more and more about nutrition. I wanted to know more and more about exercise, and how like from like beforehand, I was super inspired by the doctors who were able to like really fix people and really get their bodies working the way it's supposed to. I was like, well, what happens when uh, when you're not hospitalized, or you're not dealing with some sort of health issue, and you go plant based? What levels can it take you to? Um, and so I really dove into that as well. Um, I started to read a lot of books about nutrition and about diet. The first big book I got into as far as exercise goes, this isn't necessarily specifically on veganism or plant-based eating, is I wanted to show you guys. It's called Bigger, Leaner, Stronger. It's from Mike Matthews. Um, I don't know if you've heard of this book. Sorry, it's blurry. Um, but this book really laid out three key topics: exercise, nutrition, and supplements. And it just laid it out very plainly. This is me before I knew very much about exercise, diet, and everything like that. Um, and so for that book right there is really what kicked it off for me. I started to really learn about muscle growth, and to build off of that, I ended up years down the road. I ended up getting this book from the same author. It's geared more towards women, so it's Thinner, Leaner, Stronger from Mike Matthews. Um, it's a great book that just really just plainly lays it out as far as your exercise goes, your diet goes, and your supplements go. Mike Matthews isn't vegan, so he's not going to teach a lot of vegan nutrition, but definitely take it as a beginner's guide to exercise and diet and supplements. And you can always replace a lot of the meal plans he has with vegan meal plans, which I'll get to later, diving into how simple actually a vegan meal plan can be, and how simple it can be to switch a pretty basic normal meal plan that someone who's exercising would have, and be able to just transition it into another meal plan that is completely plant-based, and not only completely matches that one, but is plant based and offers the benefits that a plant based diet would. Um, that a lot of meats and dairy products are going to negatively impact for you. Um, and so, two major books I got into. If I did go deeper and deeper and deeper into it, just to tell you guys, I got into Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding. You don't have to read this. It's just very, very detailed. I love it because it has like every exercise ever invented at the time, I guess, when this book came out. I'm pretty sure he has an updated version one now. But at that time, I was also very, very curious into bodybuilding. And so I wanted to learn from Arnold and figure out what exercises he was doing. And so that's a little leeway into how my exercising turned into. I wanted to shoot towards bodybuilding. That's kind of why I said I don't run too much now, is because I started to get into bodybuilding. Um, when I was in high school, I was very skinny. I was probably like 125, 130 pounds as senior in high school. Um, I had like no meat on my bones at all. And so that did help with the running, but I was definitely at a point in my life where I wanted to grow. A lot of times those insecurities start to hit. You want to, for me at least, wanted to have a better self-image of who I was, and also I think a lot of us can agree as during that time, especially in like your early 20s, which I guess I technically still am in my early 20s. I'm 25. But you start to learn about your identity and who you are. And so a lot of exercise and even body image can go into that. I think a lot of physical strengths and physical goals can really tie into mental or spiritual or personal goals that you have. And that's why I do love the world of health. I love the exercise and the nutrition, because it all does tie into even everyday life, and just being able to thrive mentally and thrive, um, just living. Um, and so that is some resources if you are looking for those resources to kind of check out there. So some of the things I wanted to dive into as well with these resources is a little bit about what they talk about. And I'll give you a little bit of my credentials, and what I've been able to accomplish, so that way I can kind of back up what I'm talking about. I've been a personal trainer for about ever since 2021. So I guess 4 or 5 years now. So I've been personal training for that long, and I am certified in personal training. I'm also certified in group training, and I am also certified in plant-based nutrition. So I've taken the courses, and I've had real life experience with helping many, 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 many people change their lives for the better. And a lot of what I've learned is real life experience, and a lot of what I've learned is in these textbooks, and everything that I'm trying to learn. Um, and so three key topics that I've already talked about. We've got nutrition, we've got exercise, and we got supplements. So these three are like the big hitters when it comes to health, when it comes to growing muscle, when it comes to exercising, for anything, whether it's bodybuilding, whether it's running a marathon, whether it's doing a Spartan race, or whether it's doing high rocks, like everything that's starting to really come together nowadays. Nutrition, exercise, and supplements are the biggest things that are going to affect all of that. I'll put on top of that sleep. I don't know if sleep falls under any of those three categories, but sleep is definitely huge for that as well. So I want to talk about nutrition a little bit because this is probably the biggest thing when it comes to muscle growth. I mean, debatable. You definitely want your exercise to be on point as well, but nutrition is huge when it comes to muscle growth. And so there's a few different percentages about macros that I want to talk about. Many of you who are vegan or have been vegan or know about veganism and plant-based whole foods specifically, they like to hit on 80, 10, 10 when it comes to macros. Okay. This is like, I would say this is like foundational. It's kind of like the basics for someone who doesn't exercise, isn't really competing for anything. Just more about just the human body, really. And so 80% is carbs, 10% fat, and 10% protein. So those are the macros that a whole foods plant-based diet likes to hit, which there's pros and cons to this. So definitely a huge pro. One, if it's plant-based, that's an obvious. But two, it's really high in carbs, which carbs are your fuel. You need carbs. Your body thrives off of carbs. I love carbs. Carbs all the way. If you can eat 5 bananas in a day, eat 5 bananas in a day. Eat your fruit, like carb it up as much as you can because that's your energy, especially if you're training. Okay, it gets a little crazy if you start to dive into not exercising and then you're overdoing it with carbs. But I think from a human standpoint, as far as much as you can consume and everything like that, I don't think you can really overdo it with carbs unless you start to dive into also like sugars and stuff like that. But carbs, big fan of carbs, love it. Fats and proteins, 10%, 10%. I do like fats being as low as 10%, especially if you want to lose weight. That's a lot of the times what I'll do for my clients is get them around 10% in their fats. If they're cutting, if they're trying to lose body fat, that is a good plus. Protein around 10% is not bad because I will say protein is really overrated. Okay, as in the world that we live in today, protein is pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and it is completely overrated. Protein's important. We know protein is important. Your body uses proteins to build, 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 and build. And so you need the building tools within your body to be able to grow. But I will say, as far as how much protein is pushed, I think it's a little excessive. And I'll tell you why. My protein intake, I've gone as low as like 120 grams of protein a day. I weigh about 170 right now. 180 was probably one of my highest. And I was eating 120 grams of protein. I was growing muscle. I felt great. I wasn't bloated. If you eat too much protein, you're going to start to feel that bloating. Obviously, everyone's body's different, so definitely take what I say at your own convenience or whatever. But this is a lot of my own experience and a lot of what I've learned in school and certs and everything like that, and with my clients. So I've also eaten as much as 200 to 50 grams of protein. So I've done over the top as well. I'm definitely someone who is very experimental, and I think that's kind of what got me into veganism in the first place and bodybuilding, is because I was just curious and I wanted to try it and see if it worked. And so I've done that with my meals and my meal plans as well. And so that's part of the advice I'd give for you is try it. If you feel like your body is feeling bloated and your protein's about 1 gram per body weight, maybe try a little less. You're not going to lose gains all of a sudden. You're not going to start to lose muscle mass. That's not what's going to happen. So, experiment and give it time. Your body is really good at reacting to the food that's being put into it, and it's good at reacting to even the smallest details. And so nutrition is super important when it comes to the body. Something my staple for percentages, I know we talked 80, 10, 10. I know a lot of the personal trainers in here and a lot of the coaches are like, what are you doing? No, I get it. 80, 10, 10 is a little excessive, especially with training and especially with exercise. My favorite percentages for macros, 65, 25, 15. Um, if you want to go with that, go with that. I currently live off of that. I'm 65, 25, 15. 65 carbs, 25% protein, 15% fats. Um, I love it. It helps me keep on a lot of muscle mass. It helps me stay lean. Within the last year, I've kind of stepped away from bodybuilding and leaned more into hybrid athletes. And so I've been running more. I've been cycling more, and I've been still strength training. And I've been able to really maintain all the muscle mass that I need as a bodybuilder. And I've been also while incorporating all of the cardio involved in that. And so I love it. I've been doing it for years. Love it, love it, love it. If I'm in different phases, so within muscle growth, there's different phases you can put yourself in. And so those phases could be a bulking phase or a cutting phase or a maintenance phase. You see that a lot within the bodybuilding world. You can do that outside of the bodybuilding world, which is great, especially depending on your goals. A lot of times, your meal plans and your nutrition is going to be based upon your goals. So if you're trying to put on more mass, you can up those percentages. You can add more fats to it. Usually, go about 25% fats. Bring up the protein a little bit, maybe 30, 35, and that's gonna one make it easier to bulk because you're adding fats which are higher density in calories. Um, and two, it's just gonna help you grow a lot more at a faster rate. If you're cutting, I definitely stick to either this 65, 25, 15. I think it's great if you can keep your fats around that 20 to 10%. It's gonna help you fall cut that weight really quick, and that's really been helpful for a lot of the clients I've worked with. Um, I had a client a couple years ago who was not vegan at all. He was from Louisiana, so uh, he was new to. I don't know how much veganism is in Louisiana. I guess it's close to Florida, so all my Florida friends, which I think that's most of you, probably know what it's like. I'm from the West Coast, so veganism is very prevalent in like LA and California. I'm located in Las Vegas, and so it is more and more becoming a thing here. Um, but he was from Louisiana and didn't really know about veganism. And so I had the opportunity to share with him a lot of my own lifestyle and how I was eating. He wanted a meal plan like this: 65%, 25, and 15. His calorie intake was a restricted. It was restricted, and so he was on a cutting calorie basis there. And he was a bigger guy. He was like a lineman for a football team, and he lost 20 pounds in the first month and a half. It just came right off. It was like, all healthy too. I asked him. I said, "Hey man, are you like are you feeling all right? That can be a lot of weight, but and that also depends on like how much excessive fat you're carrying and everything like that can be shedded pretty quickly." Um, but he was able to accomplish that, and he's been able to stick to veganism because of it, and he loves it. And so that's what I want to say as far as nutrition goes. Really stick with that. As far as meal plans go, I do like to split it up into 4 meals. A lot of bodybuilders will split it up into 6 meals. And a lot of just day to day is just 3 meals. So 4 meals is great for me. If I'm trying to eat a lot more calories, I'll make it 5. But 4 is usually my go-to. I like a breakfast. I do like a lunch and a dinner, and of course a post workout meal. Um, uh, Great question. I'm sorry. I don't know if people are asking too many questions. I can't see too much of the chat. Um, And so let me just check that real quick, actually. Um, about snacks, I love snacks. I'm all for snacks. Listen, when it comes to being vegan, one of the hardest things people go through that I've experienced with my clients is they'll go hungry. And a lot of people that I meet who stop going vegan are they'll always most of the time they'll say, I just got so hungry and I just didn't know what to eat and I couldn't eat. I couldn't figure out what to eat. I was just so hungry all the time. And I'm like, oh man, I have to force myself to eat sometimes being vegan. Um, and so that's one thing I will tell you is eat those snacks, you know. Um, don't go hungry. Add more to your meals. If you're trying to cut calories and you're restricting and you're hungry, I would even switch up some of the foods that you're eating. For example, if you're eating white rice, you could switch it out with potatoes, and I think that's a huge way to stay more full while cutting calories. Um, but also throw the snacks on top. I always say, if you're really strict on your meals, well, at least be flexible with your snacks as long as they're healthy. I say fruits. Fruits are like my go-to. If you're hungry, eat a fruit. You know, um, a lot of the times when you do feel that hunger or you're trying to cut the calories, and your body's telling you you need something to eat, um, it's usually like as long as you just get that piece of fruit in, you're gonna feel okay for at least the next hour or so, and then go get ready for that meal or whatever. But eat your fruits, any grains. So we want to go whole grains. We want to go grains, grains. I always love grains. Rice. I love wheat, oatmeal, trail mix. Yes, love that trail mix. Um, and that also incorporates like the nuts, like peanuts, walnuts, cashews. Like get that in as well if you want to have that as a snack. I don't see any problem with it. If you want something a little less, I guess, healthy but also good, I love pretzels. Okay, I love pretzels. Um, Pretzels are a good go-to. It's a carb source. It's almost just straight carbs, sugar, I guess. But pretzels are a big snack of mine. And so there, you can start to lean into the unhealthy snacks from there. Like a lot of the time, a lot of times, like you can get into Oreos or potato chips or things like that. And so that's when it starts to get a little dangerous, especially if you have goals of losing weight or things like that. But you can find some pretty healthy snacks too, like different bars, like Nutri-Grain bars or protein bars. Or careful with the protein bars. You want to check the fat count. Usually, what I've seen with protein bars, even vegan ones, is more than 50% of its fat. So it's not really a protein bar; it's more of a fat bar. And so just be careful with the protein bars. Good rule of thumb: if you don't want to track your macros, if you don't really want to track calories, um, if you find something you want to eat, look at the nutrition label, and I always kind of stick around. Look at the total fat content. If it's more than 4 grams, don't eat it as a snack, um, unless it's nuts, I guess, but only have a little bit. Um, but usually, if I'm looking for a snack, I usually go for something less than 4 grams of fat in it. And so that's a good go-to there. So yeah, that's nutrition. There's just so much to go into nutrition. I know I've taken a lot of time in nutrition, and so I hope that helps anyone who's interested in that. And I build meal plans all the time, and so if you're interested in meal plans or anything like that, hit me up. Um, I love building meal plans and just like tweaking it and moving it around, especially with foods you like and being able to calculate everything that works perfectly for you and also for your goals. Um, and so I wanted to now get a little bit into exercise and muscle growth and what really works, what has worked for me and what works for my clients. Um, and as far as muscle growth goes, that was my number one uh, within the last 5 years was just muscle growth. I competed in a bodybuilding show about 2 years ago in Colorado, and my whole thing was muscle growth. I need to put on muscle. I'm vegan. I need to make this work as a vegan as well. And so that's what I did was I ate a very strict meal plan. It might be different for a lot of people, but I had to learn how to just eat the same things every day, and I would do that for like a month or two, and then switch things up. But you have to kind of like, you know, work with that as far as meal plans go. But as far as exercising went, I definitely trained like a bodybuilder, and I do recommend that for a lot of people to get into more strength training. Um, I believe after I think once you hit 30, once you hit 30, every like 10 years, if you don't exercise, your body loses like 5 pounds of muscle every 10 years. So if you're not staying active, especially as you get older and older and older, it's definitely important to focus on strength training and to keep that muscle on as you get older because it's going to help you stay healthy longer. Um, and so strength training is definitely the way to go. You can do it in many different splits. I think many people have heard of like a push pull leg split. Um, Totally great split. Love it. I've done it before. If you're starting, that's a great place to start. There's also like an Arnold split. So an Arnold split is usually like a chest back day, then it's like a shoulder arms day and a leg day. So there's different ways to like move it around. But as long as you got that strength training in, you're good. And with the strength training, reps and sets, uh, time under tension. That's the biggest thing. Time under tension when it comes to your exercises. I've done as small as 2 sets uh, with however many reps, and I've gotten exactly the attention that I needed to build muscle. I've done as much as 6, 7, or even 8 sets, and I've been able to, maybe that was excessive, but depending on the exercise, that was a great way to also do that. Here, let me check the chat. I see these questions for you guys. I definitely want this to be an informative meeting and be able to answer you guys' questions. So, um, if you're interested in my coaching, so find me on Instagram. Here, I'll send in my Instagram. It's seth.vfit. That's my Instagram right there. Just message me. I'll definitely respond to you. I love to coach, or even go to the Vegan Squad community or their website, and you can find me there. Um, and so I'm happy to coach. I love coaching. I love meeting with people. I've met with a lot of I've done a lot of different types of coaching. I've done group coaching. I work with one-on-ones. I do online coaching, in-person coaching. So however you want to do it, we'll make it happen. I want to help you reach your goals. Um, and so let me see. I think there's another question here. Okay, cool. Cool. Thanks for showing me, guys. Um, okay. So this is a lot of information has been talked about. The next thing I want to get into, or I guess there's a little more to talk about exercise. Find the exercise goal you want. Okay, figure out what you want to do. It can be as simple as I need to be healthier. I need to be leaner. Make that your goal. If it's I want to run a marathon in August, make that your goal. Write it down. I want to compete in a bodybuilding show next year. I want to do it this year. Whatever it is, write it down. Make that your goal. Give it a timeline. Make sure there's a timeline, and and make a plan to make that happen. Okay, that is where your exercise is going to be adjusted. Nutrition is pretty overall when it comes to what your goals are. As plant-based eating and everything like that. Um, but exercise is going to change based on what your goals are. For example, 2 years ago, mine was bodybuilding. And so I got a coach and I followed the right meal plan and I followed the right regimen of exercise. And I got into bodybuilding. I trained like a bodybuilding, and that helped me with my goal. Um, Now I'm training for a Spartan race. And so now that's going to be a completely different training regimen. I'm definitely going to still implement the strength training, but there's more to be added onto that based on what's involved within the competition. So, but definitely find something you want to go after, because a lot of the times, if you don't have that goal that you're reaching towards, it just becomes too easy to not go exercise, to not wake up for the gym, to not wake up and do this and that. Um, and you don't need that much exercise altogether. In the sense that I mean, you don't have to go to the gym for 2 hours or 3 hours and be there all day. I know a lot of us have really busy lives. I have a super busy life. I got coaching, I got school, I got family, I got there's so much going on. And so don't make training super complicated. If you can show up 30 minutes a day, if you can go for a walk in the morning, if you can get your body moving, then you won. You've done it. That's exactly what your body is made for, really. Use your body to move. Go on a walk. If you're into running, go on a run. Uh, if you want to strength train, go to the gym. Don't get too crazy. Don't get too crazy. You know, and if that's your goal is to be healthy and to have the body you want, then you don't have to go crazy to make that happen. Especially plant-based. Let me tell you, from everything I've talked about with the documentaries and everything I've talked about with what I learned about plant-based is your body thrives off of being plant-based. Let me tell you that I love like when I get clients that are like, "Hey, can you coach me not plant-based?" I'm like, "Bro, if you want your results to be even better, take it to the next level. Eat plant-based. It's going to change it for you. Your body is better at recovering itself. It's much quicker at recovering itself. You're not inflamed, especially when it comes to dairy milk and things like that. You're gonna use the carb source as your energy, especially if you're keeping your fats below that 10% or 15-20%. Um, and your body's just gonna get where it needs to be. Your body knows how to be healthy, and when you feed it the right things, it's gonna be healthy. Um, and so when it comes to exercise, just find the goal you want for your exercise, make that your goal, and then create the plan to do it. If you wanted something pretty basic, something that I can give now to the general public, I would say at least 3 times a week, 30 minutes. And I think that's a great starting point. So whatever you want to do with that, make it happen. If you want something very, very specific, get a coach. Coaches change the game. I have a coach. When I was bodybuilding, I didn't have a coach when I first started, and I got a coach, and it changed everything. That's one thing I wanted to point out with being vegan and exercising is a coach makes a huge difference. And I think we can compare that to being vegan. I think when you have a community of people who are vegan, um, it becomes easier to be vegan. And so when you're with your coach or even a workout buddy, if you have a partner to exercise with, um, it keeps you accountable and it keeps you moving forward. Um, and so definitely a coach is a big thing. It helped me a lot when I was training. And if not that, then get a partner. Is I got a question here. Sorry, guys. Uh-oh. Okay, cool. Is bone broth part of vegan? I would say it's not. I think they have when I do broths, I do like a veggie broth. Um, so don't do bone broth if you're trying to stay vegan. I believe it's not vegan. Someone correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Um, but veggie broth is a great alternative. Um, okay, so exercise. I think we're good on exercise. If you want like a specific routine, you can even just literally just follow my account. I post a lot of different exercises each day. And so, um, yeah. The next thing I want to get into. Okay, this is super. Everyone that I've met and that I've worked with, as far as clients go, has always wondered about supplements. What should I take? What can I take? What helps? What doesn't? There's so many supplements out there and so many options and things that are just BS and things that are great. And so I'm going to start with just the basic supplements. So we've got pre-workout. Okay, when it comes to pre-workout, I'm very, very, very nitpicky with my pre-workout. It's got to hit the right amounts of everything. There's 3 things you need to check for your pre-workout. This is for everyone that wants to use pre-workout for their exercises. The first one is called beta-alanine. Check your beta-alanine. Okay. The next one is called citrulline. There's L-citrulline or citrulline malate. Okay. That's the second one. The third one is caffeine. Those are the most important ingredients in pre-workout are those 3 things. Okay. If there's a bunch of I mean, there's things that are also like I would put in like a class B. You could say like Himalayan sea salt is huge for pumps. Salt is great when it comes to your exercises, or even what's it called? It's a GF something. But anyway, okay. I have a few examples I'm going to share with you guys. Yes, let me put that in the chat for you guys. Chat. beta alanine citron. Hopefully I spelled that right. If I didn't, I'm sorry, guys. Caffeine. Okay. Okay. So let me talk about these three ingredients real quick. Okay. Um, so your beta alanine is basically what happens is your body creates lactic acid when it starts to move when you're exercising, and the beta alanine kind of pushes against that, like it like suppresses it, so you don't feel that pain in that citric acid. Um, and so you're going to be able to push through more reps when you have beta alanine in your system. It's a huge hit. As far as doses go, you want 3 grams of beta alanine. 3 grams. It's in these books. It talks about if you want the most optimal amount, it's 3 grams of beta. So that's a huge help as far as getting the extra rep. You don't have to take pre-workout. It's just what I use and what's helped me. Citrulline has a lot to do with opening your blood vessels and just getting more oxygen in the muscles. And so citrulline is a huge help in endurance. I would suggest 6 grams per serving. If you can say 3 on beta, 6 on citrulline, you're good. A lot of the times, a lot of pre-workouts will have less than that and have a bunch of other BS ingredients. That is not the way to go. And so stick to like 6 grams of citrulline, 3 grams of beta. The third one is caffeine. So caffeine is super debatable in my opinion. I always go back and forth on caffeine. I love caffeine. I know a lot of people do. They have their morning coffees. They have their energy drinks. Um, uh, but the truth is, especially too much caffeine is just unhealthy. So don't have too much caffeine. I've seen these pre-workouts that have like 600 milligrams of caffeine, and I'm like, dude, that is so much and unhealthy. Don't have too much caffeine. Try to keep it down to maybe 1 energy drink a day. I try to do no energy drinks, and if I'm doing caffeine in my pre-workout. So usually a pre-workout will have anywhere between like 150 to 300 milligrams of caffeine, and that's a pretty good range for your caffeine. I always like to stick to around 200 milligrams of caffeine in my pre-workout. If I do the 300s, it's a little too much for me, so I'll get a feel for that in your body. But as far as caffeine goes, I wouldn't really do more than 300 and stick to 200. A lot of the times, too, I'll get on a kick where I do no caffeine. Okay, so here's to all my no caffeine people. Props to you, first of all. Amazing. Keep it up. If you guys have any like special drinks that you drink other than energy drinks that help you with energy, please let me know. But I always do like a non-stim. So, example pre-workout, I get this guy. It's called Pumped. Um, I Global Formulas is the company. My favorite pump that I've used is this one. It's been the most effective. It has no caffeine, but it has everything that I've talked about. It has the citrulline and the beta. It has a few other things to help with that pump. Um, but definitely, you can go to pretty much any nutrition shop and find a non-stim or just a pump-based pre-workout. So if you do no caffeine, that's the way to go. If not, there's a few different pre-workouts you can get. I don't want to. I mean, there's just so many to get at. That's all I'll say. The brand for this one, for this pump, it's called Global Formulas. Sorry, my screen is not catching that. I'll put it in the chat. Global Formulas. Um, that is a great pump. Just find something that has that ingredient list. If it's got the beta alanine at 3 grams and the citrulline at 6, you're good. You're gonna have a great pump. Find something that maybe has Himalayan salt in it, GP3 or whatever. That's for pump. That is a great way to go. And even if you're doing one with caffeine, do one that has the same amount of ingredients there. Okay. Other supplements, a lot of times we hear all the time as vegans, B12. It's not a vegan issue. It's an everyone issue. Most people are B12 deficient. So I definitely recommend getting your B12 in through supplements. Just find it through an over-the-counter pill. You'll be fine just doing that. B12. B12, vitamin D, that is also not a vegan issue. Clearly, you get your vitamin D from the sun, so it's definitely not a vegan issue. Uh, Vitamin D, take vitamin D. It's a game changer. Even if you feel like you're not deficient in vitamin D, take your vitamin D. You'll feel a lot more energy throughout the day. Um, and so there's I know most people know about veg nutrition. They offer an essentials vitamins. I love to take those. It has zinc, it has potassium, it has everything that I've mentioned so far, as far as B12 and D. And so definitely a great product there as well. Um, but if you want to stick to very basic, like I'm sure you're fine with just B12 or vitamin D as a supplement. I like to just go to those two. If not, get an essentials, find what else you need, or even take a daily multivitamin. That's okay too. Um, so, so yes. Let me see if there's some more questions here that I can answer for you. There's just so much I have to share and only 15 minutes left, so I'm gonna try to hit the important things. Um, is there anything that you guys want me to specifically talk on? Any questions you have about protein, muscle growth, that you would like to learn from me that I can help with? Any questions, throw it in there. Otherwise, I got plenty of material here. I can keep going. But let me just read some of these messages real quick. Vegan protein. Oh, yes, yes. Creatine. Yes, you guys are right. I totally forgot to get to those ones. Those ones are my like class B um, supplements that you need. So creatine's wonderful. Take creatine. Yeah, Veg Nutrition has a creatine that I really like. It has a little extra stuff in it. Especially if you're strength training, take creatine. It's going to help you even stronger in the strength training. The creatine, pretty much, your muscles hold water. And so your creatine is going to be able to allow your muscles to hold more water. So it's great for like stretching. It's gonna make your muscles look bigger, which is nice if you're in the bodybuilding community. But also just it's gonna keep you strong. Creatine is something that your body naturally produces, and so as you take it as a supplement, it's gonna just increase what it already does. Creatine, BCAAs and EAAs, super not important. Okay, you might get a contradictory opinion on that from different coaches, but you really don't need your BCAAs. I think that's just a selling thing that a lot of companies will tell you need to drink after your workout because you're not getting all your amino acids. If you're eating healthy, especially whole foods, you're gonna get your BCAAs. So don't worry about it. Don't be like, I need all these different supplements. I'm gonna get this BCAA. I'm gonna get this EAA, whatever it is. Like, don't. That's like the last thing to worry about. If you're like very like, I need to have every 1% that can get me going, then sure, go for it. BCAAs or EAAs, whatever it is, amino acids that you can get, go for it. And speaking of that, that's going to tie in a little bit to our uh, protein powders. Protein powders, if you want a really good protein powder, I'll share with you the one I love, because it has every amino acid and it is also very delicious, is Sun Warrior. Uh-oh, there we go. Sun Warrior. Okay. Write that down, Sun Warrior, if you want that protein. I do chocolate, they have vanilla. It's not going to be as much protein, which again, protein's overrated. This one has 16 grams of protein per scoop. Um, Usually your proteins have 20, 25, whatever it is. Um, and so this one tastes amazing. Has all your amino acids. It marks down every single amino acid that's in there. It's super healthy. It's whole food. It's a blend of pea protein, hemp seed protein, goji berry, and it's very like all the ingredients are very whole foods and very just natural and healthy. Um, and so I use this all the time. I've been using it for the last 6 years. I've tried different proteins. I've tried veg. I love veg too. I say go for veg. The only issue I had with veg was it just didn't taste as good. So if you're, and I don't mean to hate on, I know a lot of people love their veg, but I just didn't think it tasted as good as Sunward. So maybe that's a me issue. If you want veg, get veg. There's more protein in it, which is great. I think they have like 25 grams per serving. And so go for veg if you want to do that. I'm sure they have all their aminos as well. Um, But if you want one that I love the taste of, and I think is really healthy for you, Sun Warrior is the way to go for that. So protein powder is there. Um, cool. I'm glad we got to that subject because I know that was really important. Um, let's see. Okay, make sure I got everything. Okay. Well, really, the last thing I wanted to talk about here was goals and motivation, because that's going to fuel all of this, all the information there. I'm sorry if I missed any information that you were interested in. Message me directly on Instagram, or just reach out. I'm really happy to help with whatever questions you have as far as nutrition, exercise, and supplements go. I want you guys to have all the information you need. I hate gatekeeping. I think that's so dumb. um, we should be trying to make the world a better place and helping each other and lifting each other up. And so if I can go get certified, if I can go to school for something and learn things that are helpful for us, then I'm here to share it with you. And so whatever questions you have for me, please let me know. I'm here to help. If you want coaching, let me know. I'm here to coach. Everything there. But to fuel all of that I've talked about with nutrition, exercise, and supplements, let's talk about motivation and accountability. I wanted to talk about a story about I don't know if you guys ever heard the story. It's about these British cyclers in the 1970s. So this was in the 1970s. It was British cyclers, and sorry, I think there's a question. Before I get into the story, still got a little time. Let me answer the question. Is perfect amino or O amino sufficient if they're not supplementing with protein powder? So, just to clarify, is that question saying, are you good on the aminos without protein powder? Is that what you're asking? Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna assume that. Because I don't have a lot of time. Sorry. Message me. Message me if you need anything. Okay. Sorry. Um. So as far as aminos go, if you're eating plant-based, you're good. Stay whole foods. You're healthy. You're killing it. Don't overcomplicate it. Stick to it. Go strong. Um. So this story of these British cyclers, they really sucked apparently. So back in the day, back in the 1970s, the British cycling team had not won a medal in since they started basically, um, and in the Olympics. So these are Olympic cyclers, and so at this point in time, they're like, well, what do we do? A lot of times, so that'll happen in our lives too, where you're not exactly where you want to be. So what do? Make a drastic change? No. So the story here is the new coach came in and he decided he wanted to just make 1% changes to whatever he could. Just that slight change. Whether that was cleaning the gears once a day, or whether that was cleaning the transportation system for the bikes, whether that was adding zero point 0.1 to your speed when you're training. Um, Whatever it was, he always just wanted to add just that 1% to it. And what ended up happening was the British team went on to win gold, and they ended up winning gold several years in a row. And the moral of that story is that it doesn't take a huge drastic change to change your life. And so, if you're someone who wants change and wants growth, even for someone like myself, I love to set goals. Set goals to grow. You know, if you want my specific way of setting goals, I can show you. But set goals, and it doesn't have to be crazy. 1% better every day is all it takes. Find one area of your life you want to improve in, and just add that 1%. If you can show up to the gym and do 10 push-ups, you've done it. If you can do 11 push-ups the next day, you've done it. If you can just add that little extra each day, depending on your goal, make it happen. That 1% is going to change everything. I love to set goals. The way I set goals is I pick 3 categories. Okay. Physical, mental, and spiritual. That's usually the 3 categories I go with. You can always play around with maybe a 4th one or even replacing one of the 3. Definitely not spiritual. Sorry, not spiritual. Physical and mental. Stick with those ones for sure, because that's going to affect everywhere else in your life. But I like to maybe switch it with a personal goal, or an educational goal or a financial goal. You can switch that out. Set the goal I like to start with a vision. So set the vision. What does the end result look like? What do you want to accomplish in the far future? It's something probably won't be able to attain right now, but something you want and something you see in the far future. Then set the goal. Set a goal that is an actual goal. Set the time period. If you can do it in 3 months, I want to lose 10, 15, 20 pounds in 3 months. That is my goal. I want to build 5, 10 pounds of muscle in the next 6 months. That's my goal. Whatever it is, set the goal, make it timely, write it down, then create a plan. I usually add at least 3 things to my plan that can get me there. This morning, I'm going to wake up or this week, I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning this week. That's going to lead me towards my goal of uh, whatever it is. I want to be able to study more. I want to be able to work out more, whatever it is. Make the plan. If it's your meal plan, or if you're trying to be healthier and you have a meal plan, you could say, I want to lose weight. I need to follow my calorie deficit. My goal this week is to follow my meal plan at least 5 days straight. Whatever it is, make it challenging, but make it doable, and set that goal. And as long as you have that goal, it gives you a path to follow. And that's the biggest thing here is you can have everything that I've talked about. You can have the nutrition dialed, you can have the exercise dialed, you can have the supplements dialed. But if you don't have somewhere you're going, then it can become pretty easy to fall off that. And I'll end with this. I don't have a lot of time. I got 4 minutes, but I just want to say that I'm really grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for even those who are vegan curious. I'm grateful for the vegans, and I'm grateful for the guys and the girls who are out here to make a difference in the world. And I'm here for it. I want to make that difference. The idea is to be kind to everyone. People who disagree with us, people who agree with us, our friends, our enemies. Be kind to everyone. Be kind to the animals. Be kind to the world, man. Like it's kind of like a hippie saying, but it's true. It's the way it should be. And if we can help each other out, we will. And I just am super thankful for the vegan squad as well, and all the coaches and the team. And as we grow, you guys will grow, and the community will grow. And we're here to make a positive impact in the world. And I'm so excited for what the future holds. There's a lot of bad that goes on in the world, but there's so much good that's happening. And let's focus on the good, and let's make that difference. But thank you guys so much. Reach out to me if you need anything at all, any questions, and I'm here to help. So thank you guys. I'll give it the time now to Alex. Appreciate you guys.
Sweet. Thank you so much, Seth. That was awesome. Thank you for sharing the end note of gratitude. I love that too, and all the knowledge that you shared. I'm grateful that you're a part of the team. And yeah, we're changing the world, dude. Everybody who's on this call, everyone who's vegan or plant curious, this is the way that we're gonna change the world and save animals, save people, make a better future for everybody. So really appreciate you too. And thank you for all the knowledge that you shared, brother. It was awesome. Cool. Well, before we bring on John, I just wanted to go ahead. I'm gonna remove you really quick. Thanks, Seth. I appreciate you. And please feel free to follow him. Seth, if you want to drop your link in the chat again to your Instagram so people can check you out and follow you, they can. I'm also going to drop the link for y'all to apply if you want to work with Seth or any of the Vegan Squad coaches on our team. We have an epic team. Everybody's vegan, diehard vegans, want to help save the world exactly how Seth said. And just wanted to share my screen really quick. Oh my gosh. All right. Can everyone see my screen? I'm gonna
Yep.
take it as a yes, hopefully.
Yeah, I
Cool.
can see it, Alex.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Cool. So if you apply today to work with a coach like Seth or anybody else on the Vegan Squad team so that we can change your life, we are also including a one-on-one private session with one of today's speakers. So you can have a session with Seth or myself or Melissa, John, who's going to be presenting next, or Coach Alexis, who is our social media and branding coach. She will help you up-level your business, up-level your social media. So if any of those are of interest to you, you will get that in addition to working with your coach. We will also receive lifetime free access to our vegan community. Got live calls in there. You can ask any questions. You can meet other vegans all over the world. We have about 200 people in there right now, and it's growing. It's really awesome and just an amazing space for people to connect and just not feel as alone, because we all know that as vegans, the most challenging thing is not the food or the exercise, whatever it is, it's knowing other vegans. So that's exactly what we solve in the Vegan Squad community. We'll also be throwing in John's cookbook, 30 high protein recipes, really easy to make. They're awesome and delicious. And I'll also be throwing in my personal protein guide. with all the links to different vegan protein sources, how to incorporate in your diet, and yeah, just making sure that you are on a great start, along with working with a coach that will help you with the accountability, the daily support, figuring out your nutrition plan for you and your training plan, and literally just giving you handheld guidance to improving your physique, your nutrition, and your mindset and your spiritual health as well, because we're a very holistic team. So yeah, if you want to apply, please apply at the link here. It is the Change Your Life Today link in the chat. And yeah, we're excited. So please do so.